Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, our tribe discovered this little orphan baby who had been swept away by the ocean waves. She only had one gem to her name, but thankfully they saved her just in the nick of time, and she didn't even take any damage. Now that she has her second gem though, she can do a little bit more wandering freely around the tribe. Maybe she can get to know her brand new family. All of the critters who had been spending time by the ocean, Rosemary and Braveheart who were slaying the crabbits, and Nuvan who was watching from a distance with great curiosity. They've all come together to give this baby a safe home. It dawned on me that Rosemary probably remembers Nuvan. She actually babysat for him when he was very, very little, when he had been first born in the royal nests. She even caught his common cold at the time. Though no harm done, she has healed all of that damage now, and she wasn't too upset about it anyway. It's just what caused Nuvan to be a little bit more distant, because he doesn't want to get anybody else sick. His healing fruit hasn't grown back either, but I would imagine it's probably just around the corner. He only has a little bit of damage on his lifespan at this point anyways. We'll just have to be mindful of it. We don't want him passing away before he can see his new adopted daughter grow. Now I'm sure they want to find her some food. I'm actually wondering if maybe Rosemary would want to come over here and cut down this berry bush. Nobody over here is able to pick safely from these, so she probably figures it would be a pretty good meal. But you guys have pointed out that Komesi has some pretty interesting genes. She has the poison fangs in her inactive traits, the big body. I mean, there's a possibility that she might just be a gift from Adam. Maybe the bluebirds themselves dropped her off in the ocean for our tribe to find. But with those poison fangs, I guess that means her family probably did have them too. So they were probably quite used to the poison berries. So as Rosemary goes to swipe the bush down, she would try her best to stop her. I'm sure she's a little bit timid, but she would still make it quite clear that she doesn't want to see that berry bush go. These don't grow back when we swipe them down, only the normal berries do. So that's probably what has her worried. But Nuvan could soothe her fears by having her come a little bit closer, and maybe she could even help him pick the normal berries instead. These are a little bit more safe for them to gather from. Oh, and she picked every last one. Unfortunately, we are kind of in the middle of a drought right now. I wish we had those antennas to use. Braveheart has those in her inactive traits, so maybe she can pass them on to her babies. It might take a little bit of finagling. I think she'll have to breed with somebody who has it in their traits too. So we might not see it on this island, but I'm sure it's in their future. Now, if Rosemary has been banned from cutting down the poison berry bushes, maybe she could find some little bunnies to hunt down instead. I mean, it's not as if we're hurting for bunnies right now. So maybe it's time to bring Braveheart out of the water too. Unfortunately, all of their crabbits have seemed to disappear. So it might be time for them to turn their attentions to the land prey. We'll have Rosemary scoot up this way toward the bunny burrow. Oh, excellent, just in time for her to swipe one down. You'll have to stay by that meat though, because that bluebird looks very, very hungry. Maybe we'll have little Braveheart stay by the baby for now then, since she is going to act kind of as her mother figure. And I'm sure that she would like to spend some time getting to know Nuvan too. I think it's pretty sweet how this baby is bringing these two together, and I'm sure that they're going to develop a wonderful bond as they take care of her. Maybe they'll even start their own family someday. Now I think we'll want for Dukta and Messi to maybe start carving out a little bit more of this grass. Their family isn't often known for making pathways, but I'm sure they can handle carving out a little bit of a base. I'm thinking that Clementine is probably going to want to come back here to use this area. Oh no, Messi. It looks like you may have missed one of the moles. Well, we have plenty more opportunities for food around here. Yeah, Clementine should definitely come back to pick up those acorns, but she does have a bit of a different situation to take care of first. I guess new Duke here might have to be the one to reveal her. She's still kind of hidden by all of this grass. He heard her yelling, because it turns out he was trying to steal her healing fruit, so she's going to have to explain the situation to him. I'm sure he would understand. He might be reckless, but he's not a thief. So as long as he knows that this isn't exactly his for the taking, he's not going to try to bring it back to Adam's pride. He's probably laughing nervously too, looking at all these bluebirds circling overhead. Like, if there were ever a question as to whether or not Adam is watching him right now, he can definitely erase that from his mind. Adam has been leading him in this direction, so he knows that his true calling is somewhere in this grass. Maybe it's even to go back to the acorn tree and start a family with Clementine. I feel like she's really going to grow fond of him, because of course he's going to remind her of her sister Passion. So let's bring Passion into one of these nests. I guess this one right here will do. We'll have her clear out a little bit of the grass around her, maybe take up one of these roots for her newest baby. And I think it's quite likely that Ballad is going to want to be by her side. He's getting so close to the end of his lifespan. He doesn't really want to lose track of her or his babies. So we'll bring him right next to her, chasing out the bunnies as he goes. And that leaves his youngest in the care of Tiger Eye. I guess we could bring Tiger Eye up here. I think there are quite a few roots in the area. Yeah, this might give them a good chance to put their digging paws to good use. They could learn how to use them for the good of the tribe. I think that's the last of our turns, though. So let's go back to Passion and see what her next baby is going to look like. Now, we've had some interesting luck with the snout so far. It turns out that Ballad keeps passing his bird beak, which is the only reason why the purr snout is popping up on those babies. So let's see if this time, hopefully we'll see those poison fangs. Yes, it looks like it worked. Oh my gosh, the poison fangs and the water body. That is all you could have asked for. Not to mention she also has the nimble fingers, so at least she can collect the shells. That was one of the problems with her brothers. Since they only have the digging paws, it's not like Tiger Eye's water body is going to help him too much. But she is going to be an excellent addition to the next island too, once we go to that oasis. And look at that yet again. We have the bird beak in our inactive traits. Oh my gosh, Ballad. I feel like that has to be a sign of some sort. It's not one that they would know, but still, it seems like Adam is trying to tell you something. I mean, it's very, very fitting that all of these babies are Passion's babies too, because she is quite the free spirit, and she is one of these sky seekers, I guess. So this is kind of like their tribes are starting to merge. Maybe we'll even see the bluebird feathers return to one creature someday, instead of being split off in these two families. Thanks to her beautiful red coat though, I think we're going to name this little baby Cherry. It goes right alongside her mother's naming theme, of course, with those fruits. And her brother too, who looks quite similar. So before we go any further, let's just make sure that there's no danger in the grasses. We want to keep an eye on the jungles, of course. I haven't heard any ape spawn, so we might be okay. We've been pretty lucky in the jungles so far. The apes have not returned since that initial jungle that our tribe landed on, so I think we should be okay. Now, I guess we might want to have Passion Fruit have one more baby. She should at least breed with Ballad. We've had some issues with his fertility in the past, so this might be our last chance. If we bring her over here, we'll have him use his turns as the bunnies steal all of our berries. I guess there's really nothing we can do. We need the extra turns to ensure that last baby. There we go. So even though he's just about to pass, he can rest easy knowing that his family will be strong. I think it's pretty clear who he's going to give the bluebird feathers to as well. We can't do it right now because Cherry doesn't even have a single gem, but once he does pass away, he'll just leave that bluebird feather right in the nest for her. I guess it's going to be up to Passion to explain everything that the bluebird leader is supposed to do, which is going to make for an interesting story, to be honest, because she doesn't really follow the old traditions as closely as Ballad. I'm sure she would try her best to honor his ways, but at the same time, she doesn't want her babies to feel stuck in their roles. That was one thing that she fought against herself. While she may have made an excellent berry picker, she was all about the adventure, and she was not going to stay contained in one area for long. And it's that same fiery personality that's kind of capturing Clementine's heart right now. Maybe New Duke here would offer to pick up these poison berries, since he knows that Clementine can't do it herself. And he does want to make up for all the trouble that he caused. And that, of course, would remind her only more of her sister, who was one of the only ones who could collect from the poison berries safely. So maybe she would wonder if this is her only chance? Her one and only chance to start a family? She doesn't want to pass all alone out here, and she would love to pass on some of her healing powers to her babies. I'm sure she is a little bit worried about the royal family. They might have the purr snouts, but they are hard to pin down. They'll need a whole army of healers in their shadow. So if we want any hope of seeing the purr snout on her babies, I think we're going to have to give New Duke here the purr snout too. We'll place it into his first slot, and then as for the second one, I was thinking of just going with the mask instead. The mask is the only pattern that we don't have on anybody in our tribe right now, so I would love to see it pop up on some more babies. For that matter, they have some pretty interesting potential, like in their inactive traits. They have the peacock tails, they have the melanism traits, they have the antlers too. Both of them are carrying the antlers. I would love to see that pop up on some of our babies. I can't even remember the last time we saw the antlers in our tribes. We'll have to go a little bit more practical with Clementine because she does have the blindness in her inactive traits. That could be useful because it does give us some enhanced senses, but we don't want it spreading too far. So we'll place the normal eyes in slot 1 and the mask in slot 2. So go ahead and breed with New Duke here. Then I guess we'll have you settle back down in one of the nests. We could actually bring you straight back to the acorn tree. We'll settle you down right here. Oh, and we have one of the stumps. Oh my gosh, I didn't know we had stumps out here. Oh, maybe we could call one of the wanderers to our tribe? I wonder if maybe Dukta should give it a try. Like, this is actually the perfect place for a little peacock baby to be born, so fingers crossed that's going to work out. Yeah, maybe Dukta should sit high on top of the stump. He could clear out some of the grass and let out a little song of his own. Now, his side of the family isn't really known for their songs, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work. It's Ballad's side of the family who knew all of the old songs. They would probably be a little bit better at singing. We'll have Messy come over here to pick up the rest. Maybe she could sniff around for some more roots too. Ooh, but what's this? Has a bunny stumbled right into our grasp? Well, this might be a good way for Braveheart to show her stuff, or at the very least to teach their brand new little daughter how to hunt effectively. There we go. Ooh, and it looks like the leeches are coming up to say hi too. Well, that's interesting. Maybe we should bring Nuvan down to the ocean so he can scoop that up. I'm kind of surprised that it's going straight toward Messy. Like, I'm pretty sure that I can't reach her. She's a little bit too far away. But it is worrying nonetheless. Maybe Messy would want to come up behind him just to make sure he's okay. I mean, she knows better than anybody else here just how terrifying the ocean can be. She doesn't want to see her brand new dad get hurt after all. We'll have Rosemary pick up the meat. No, it's actually skittering off into the ocean. Okay, Nuvan, but I want you to keep a very close eye on it. Don't let that leech out of your sight. I wonder if it's actually being frightened by, like, the shadow of the bluebird as it swoops over the ocean. Very, very strange. I've never seen a leech act like that before when we have a perfectly healthy creature. Oh wait, he's not healthy. That's right, he's the one with the common cold. Maybe the leech can sense that. Doesn't want any of his blood. This bluebird seems very interested in the jungles as well. Wonder if that's something that his brother would want to investigate? Dukta would be just the sort of creature to go charging recklessly through the jungles, so I guess we'll have to keep an eye on him too. We should be ready to skip the day once more though, so unfortunately we will be saying goodbye to Ballad, but he's going to leave that bluebird feather right next to his baby Cherry. We'll go ahead and set her up with that, and give her the Alpha rank as well. The newest leader of Adam's Pride. I'm sure her ancestors are singing right now. This is all that they ever wanted. Carol in particular just so desperately wanted to see the poison fangs. It caused quite a bit of jealousy between the tribes, but now that rift might be smoothing over. She has a digging paw too, so she could probably put her father's remains to rest. But I feel like that's a job that's better suited for her brothers. Honestly, with all the time that they've been spending over here by these roots, learning how to dig them up properly of course, I feel like they have a much better connection with the old gravediggers. So as we change some of their final gems over to that orange color, let's have them look for another root to use. I guess they're going to be leaving these berry bushes to the bunnies. It's not as though they can pick from them. Oh geez. Oh my gosh, and we have those carnivorous plants again. No! Oh, our mortal enemies. At least this one seems friendly. But we're going to have to be really careful. I mean, you guys are searching for your roots, but we don't want you stumbling headfirst into danger. Alright, there's one of the roots. It's right behind a wall of weeds too. So I guess we'll have you pick up some of the grass, and hopefully on the next turn you can snag up that root. I mean, it must be worth it if it's in such dangerous territory. Maybe this is the one that Ballad was hoping for all along? Even the bluebird seems to be leading you in that direction. Maybe that's why he was circling overhead. Oh my gosh, Braveheart, and here's another bunny for you. It might be a good idea for you to stay here after all. You can just collect all the bunnies as they come up trying to steal your food. And that leech is still there. But I think I actually see a poison-fanged baby in the nest. Oh my goodness. Look at that bright red fur. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the peacock tail, but at least he's carrying it in his inactive traits. Yeah, he is one striking baby. You have to give him that much. He's not going to be able to hide very well in the jungle with that bright red fur. Unless perhaps somebody mistakes him for one of the carnivorous plants. Maybe we should actually name him in their honor. Like we could name him Flytrap. Not the most graceful name, but I feel like it definitely fits him. Oh, and he has the home island gene too? Excellent, so he inherited that from Clementine? We should probably have her have a few more BBs then. The more home island genes we can have in the tribe, the better. So come on over here, New Duke here. We'll have you settle down next to Clementine again. I guess we could actually bring him over to this dirt mound. That way, if she breeds with him, she should be able to... Oh no. Oh no, the leech! She should be able to plant down a nest right underneath the acorn tree. No, Newvon, the leech finally got to you. Oh, it was just waiting for us to let our guard down. Comessi, could you maybe come over here? Or you know what? Let's have Braveheart do it. She's been getting to know him so well. This would be a nice way for them to bond, right? And her family is known for swooping in and saving the day anyways. It's another good way for Comessi to learn about her adoptive parents. She knows that they are very valiant creatures. And maybe this is a good time to present the idea that they could start their own family together. I mean, as the bluebird's talons are literally dangling right over Newfon's head. What on earth are you doing, sir? Are you looking for fish in the water, maybe? Well, if this isn't a sign that they're meant to start a family, then I don't know what is. But let's see what we can do for their mutation menus. It would probably be worthwhile to put some sort of clause on Newvon. Braveheart's family is going to be the knights of our tribe, so they're going to have to be very, very strong. We could go with the Berryina claw to make them even stronger, but since we're going to the oasis, maybe we should go with the regular claw? That gives them a little boost in fishing, so it would be more food in our pockets. The regular claw in both slots? I guess that could work. That'll make it even more likely that we'll see it on their babies. And as for Braveheart, we want to make sure that we're working on that fertility gene for sure, so that won't become an issue anymore. And then we might as well try to keep the big ears in their families so we won't have to worry about the heat. So go ahead and breed with Braveheart. I guess we'll try again with his last turn. That does mean that he's going to be settled down right next to her when we pass the day. But it's not actually that bad when the other creatures get the colds, because they seem to recover quite quickly, and we have so many of the purr snouts in the area. They should be just fine. Rosemary is getting a little bit far away from her family, but I feel like she would go after the bunnies above all else. I don't really see too many more in this area, unfortunately. Maybe she'll have to go a little bit deeper then. We'll have her pick up the grass for now to connect those two territories. And speaking of which, I guess Messy should probably do the same. We'll have Dukta spend just one day singing on the stump, just to see if anybody else is around. Though it seems like the island is quiet. Yeah, no new wanderers around here, unfortunately, so maybe somebody else will have to give it a try. You know, with the bluebird swooping down like right at eye level, I wonder if maybe Messy and Dukta would want to follow it. We'll see where it goes, I guess, and we'll bring Messy over this way. Yep, the bluebird definitely agrees. She can clear out the grass so they can explore on the next turn. And I think the next turn might be here already. So we have 2 new babies being born. I guess we might as well see what Ballad's last baby is going to look like. Oh my gosh, our little rabbit friend. Oh, is that the same one that was stuck underneath the coconut tree? Or are you perhaps Ballad's spirit coming back to see your very last baby? Oh my gosh, that is so strange. And look at this. Oh, just like your big sister, the poison fangs, that beautiful water body. You know, he almost looks just like Tiger Eye. It's actually kind of funny how that turned out. Cherry looks so much like Dragon, and this little baby looks almost just like their firstborn. And I'm sure their ancestors are very proud of those stripes. We have to give at least one of their babies those musical-related names, so I think we're going to name this baby Anthem. He might not be the bluebird leader, but I'm sure he's going to be quite connected to his sister nonetheless. These two are going to be side by side all the time, just as our 2 little gravediggers are. Let's make sure that we can clear out a safe pathway over to that route too. Tiger Eye should definitely be the one. He is the oldest, so he wouldn't want to put his little brother at risk, but they can share this moment together as they lay their father's remains to rest. Now with the birth of Clementine's new baby too, I'm thinking after she passes, and after she has all the babies that she possibly can, maybe that's when we'll turn our attentions to the new island. We should have plenty of capable bodies to get us enough food when we're there. We'll just have to make sure that we pick up all of the food around this tree first. You guys have plenty to collect. It looks like we have a big-nosed baby this time, with that lovely stinky tail, so unfortunately no peacock tail. But they both do have the big ears, they have the home island gene. Yeah, they're gonna be ready for the oasis for sure. At least they won't struggle in that heat. I think it's kind of interesting that so many of their babies are inheriting this bright red fur too. Just as we're about to leave for another savanna. Well, kind of anyways. The oasis is just as hot as the savanna, though we won't be seeing any fires from Melody. There has to be some sort of connection there, so I think we're going to name this baby Sunflare. I'm pretty sure that's quite similar to one of the names that our savanna creatures used in the past, so maybe that'll be a good way to get luck on our side if Melody is ruling over this place. Now unfortunately it looks like Braveheart is sick, but we should be able to scoot her right over to the nest. In fact, let's have Nuvan purr for her first, that way she should be able to heal all of that damage. And I mean, no harm done. Just like her mother, Braveheart feels no fury, despite how embarrassed Nuvan might be. Oh, and little Comessi is all grown up now. She has her very final gem. So let's have her gather up all of those berries. And then I wonder if she would be brave enough to go searching for shells. I mean, I do see that they're spawning again. We have more crabbits in our midst. So maybe this would be a good way for us to gather up some more food. It just depends if she's brave enough, because she is still quite scared of the water. Well, I'm sure Nuvan would say that he's watching out for her. Maybe he could even purr for her too. That would surely instill her with confidence. We could have her come down here, which would put her right in the path of Dukta, who looks so much like her father. I mean, we always said that these two could practically be twins, so maybe that would put her mind at ease too. Now Nuvan better hurry up and get back to his healing fruit if he doesn't want to pass away early. We'll bring him up there on the next turn. And I think we actually have some meat to pick up down here. This must be the bunny that passion fruit poisoned. Well, we don't want that bluebird picking it up instead, so go ahead and grab that for us. And then grab yet another meal in the process too. You seem pretty good at calling the bunnies out for an easy meal. Now we only have one more chance to have another baby with Clementine. So I suppose for the sake of that peacock tail, we might as well give it another try. I guess we'll have to scoot Nudukir over here. That way we can set up her nest right next to her other baby, so she won't be too far away, and she will still have the time to pick up some of those acorns. She hasn't really been able to since she's been building her family, but you can bet that her sons are going to be excellent acorn collectors. I wonder if maybe she would even offer up those acorn caps to Solaris this time, since she so desperately wants to see some of those bird genes on her babies. Maybe that would be her way of getting his interest? Hopefully it'll work. Sometimes all we need is that little extra push of good luck. Now passion fruit is down to her last day too, but if we scoot her on over here, she can scatter the bunnies and maybe pick up this healing fruit for us, so she'll have just one more day with her babies. She still has a lot to teach them after all, about this idea of independence. But I suppose the one tradition that she would make sure she passes on is that they stick together as a family. 2 heads are better than 1 after all, and with how dangerous these islands can be, she knows they would be much better off as a team rather than splitting apart. Maybe they can even work together to take care of some of these bunnies before they steal every last berry on the island. So I think we might be all out of turns once more. Let's go ahead and skip the day just one last time. That way we can see the very first baby of Braveheart and her knights, of course. And the very last baby of Clementine too. We could even line it up just right so we can see them both being born at the same time. Oh my goodness. 2 very different babies, but this one is super strong. Just what we wanted to see. She has one of the normal claws and the Berryina claw too, so despite her lean body, she should actually be very, very strong. And I see that she also has the antennas and her inactive traits, so fingers crossed those will stay alive. And with her perfect eyesight and her enhanced senses, maybe Eagle Eye would be a good name for her? I'm sure she is going to be quite perceptive of her surroundings. She knows it's her job to protect the tribe, so she's going to do her best. And then as for the last little healing baby to be born, thank goodness she inherited her mother's purse now. I wonder if she might even be a little reincarnation of her mother. She has one of those nimble fingers, still no peacock tail, but we're getting closer to unlocking that. And that home island gene yet again, so every single one of her babies had it. Excellent, we have no fear of losing it anytime soon. So I think Clementine's final wish would probably be to name this baby in memory of her sister, since she missed her so. She probably really regrets never seeing Passion again. So we'll name this little baby Starfruit, and we'll call her Star for short, just like how we named Passion before. Of course, we'll give all of these babies the pink gem in the middle to represent their families. But I think we're going to make a little change over here. Once Eagle Eye grows her first gem, we'll give her the golden gems. I think that's the only one that we're not using right now, so I feel like it would be particularly fitting of our Dark Knights. Kind of like the gold hearts that we had on the Harmony Islands. The golden gems often represent very valiant creatures. But in the next episode, with this new generation born, we'll have to figure out where we're going next. If it's time to bring everybody over to those ports and pick up the last of our food, or if we'll spend a little bit more time preparing. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!